Welcome again to URP Practical Talk. I am your host, Pastor Wendell Jeffrey. Namaste, salams, all those good things. Thanks for joining us again today. Thanks for allowing us into your beautiful homes or your workplaces or wherever you might be at this time. We're going to continue our conversation here as we move forward with the URP Practical Talk and indeed an agenda, a proposed agenda for how we will move forward here in Guyana. Again, in the studio with me today is Dr. Bandu. How you going, buddy?
Fine.
Very good. I like your mixture, white and red. Doc, let's jump right into it. Again, you have been moving around the country, settling in, discussing, and you went up to Ichuni, and you guys made some presentations, some sporting equipment, and so on. You want to talk a little about that, Doc?
Well, Pastor, we are very much interested in the young generation today because of, the idleness of the young people, turning into the alcohol and the drugs and all these things. So we would like to see that they occupy themselves in games and so forth. So the URP decided to, in Ichuni, to present the youths with
sporting equipment.
Sport equipment like football for the young boys and the girls volleyball and so forth. We also had promised them that we will further assist them with other games. What they would like to have in the area so that they can occupy their time. And parents are very happy about that in Ichuni because they think that it's a wonderful idea in getting their children occupy themselves and stay out of trouble.
Do they have arenas for these children to play and so on?
Oh, they have a big play field, very big. That's where we were on our Facebook. If you look at our Facebook, you'll see a huge play field they have there.
And of course, the Facebook page is URP Guyana. URP Guyana, no, the Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
URP Guyana is the Facebook page. And how did the youths respond to the?
Oh, very, very, very good, very good. We have they are planning. They asked me to go back there in a few weeks so that we will able to do something with the youths and have a better meeting with them. They will invite more and more of them to come forward, and they're taking it well.
Okay, all right. And as you move around, you are encountering some challenges. I think that you have a situation with the CDC in Region 10. Is there a problem happening up there?
It was brought to my attention that in Region 10, the Old England area, where they have the CDC, 2 of our URP members are in that CDC. And when the high authority found out that they were URP members, they were thrown out of the committee. Well, I can understand that because CDC is supposed to be an independent organization.
Correct.
Right? And, it seemed like the government wants to dabble themselves into everything. How come if the NDC and people are in other organizations, they don't throw them out? Why do they have to throw 2 of the URP members from it? Because they are URP people. And their explanation was that you can't be in 2 different organizations.
No, but I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense.
No, a person has a political right by way of freedom to choose, and I think they should not be contingent. The CDC should not make that contingent to determine if they should disband somebody or something. But the political tension in Guyana is so ripe and it's so divisive. So what is the redress? I mean, what are you guys planning to do?
Well, I told them that they should write a letter back to the CDC and let them give them more information. Why is it that they really insistent on moving them out? Because some big boys from Georgetown or somewhere who was at that meeting say you all cannot be a part of the CDC anymore.
And so, was this just a verbal thing, or was it something in writing?
No, the verbal thing.
So you guys gonna push for something in writing, have them documented, and see if there might be some legal redress, as to make sure that they get back. You've been having some other problems though, as you travel, or you've been understanding some other things as you move forward, Region 1 and 7 and 8 and so on. You've been realizing that there are some problems that are really unique. How does the URP...
Well, there are common problems all over in those areas. One is communication problem.
Okay.
People are not getting to cell phone signals and all these things because they don't have tower in many of those areas for people to have those communications. Two, they also have problem with like medics, things like, first aid and things like that. If people feel sick, they don't have no kind of fast transportation to take them to Georgetown or wherever they have to be. Then they have a next problem, a serious problem in this area with secondary schools.
Access to education?
Access to education, because after primary school, what happened is either the parents who doesn't have money, the children have to drop out completely from school and start to go in the field and go work. Because although they want to further their study, they can't. They cannot further their study because there are no finance for them to go and do that. And these are some of the things that happening in this region, and unemployment is serious in this region.
I want to go back a little to the communication. What about communication for information purposes, like your radios, your television, and so on? Do they have access to any of that? So so that they can have in case of disaster, is there any disaster awareness?
They don't have signal, so they can't have communication. If they don't have signal in an area, they would not get the communication. Right? In those areas. So it's dead.
So let's go back to the education side. What you've been on the ground, you've seen the situation. What would you suggest, or what do you think that the government can do, or indeed an administration that is a URP administration? What do you envision that can be done?
One, URP administration, we will look at the area. Let us assume that they have 4, 5, 6 villages here.
Yes.
Right? I know they don't have that amount of people, but every village have a certain amount of people. Let us find the midway between these 6 villages and put a secondary school, so that people can come from all sections to that midway, and if you have few here, you have few there, it means it adds up. It will become a lot because you have 6 villages. So find a central spot within the 6 villages, which is convenient where everybody can come to that one spot instead of coming out to Georgetown or coming out somewhere else. So that is one where the primary school concerned. Also, I think that under URP government, we can, on communication, we can ensure that these communication centers like Digicel or GT&T try to get to put up signals, towers in those areas. If you even have to contribute, government has to contribute to it.
Kind of a subsidy
subsidize the tower. You must be able to do that because communication is very important. Because right now you're not even getting newspaper in many of these areas. People does not know what is happening in Guyana. Whatever these politicians go and tell them, whatever lies they tell them, these people stay with that and keep on peddling that lies too. Because there are no facts. All what is a hearsay from the politicians. So if they have communication, it means they will be more educated. They will understand what's happening in their country. We have news media, you have radio, you have television. and these kind of things, they will be able to know exactly what is happening. So nobody can come and push things down your throat. You know.
Okay, they'll be more informed.
Yes.
What are some of the you talk about employment? How do the people generate funds to live in those outlying areas? What do they use of means of income?
Two ways they work to try to generate funds in those areas is by either gold or either timber. Okay. Right? In that two industry, they only generate funds. The ladies and the young women and so have nothing to do. All what they do stay at home. You know, they're not even planting anything. Nobody is there.
Can they plant? Is it conducive to agriculture?
Sure.
What is preventing them from doing that?
Apparently, they are not having market for things.
Getting
out and get the market. Mm-hmm. So government should be able to try to facilitate like boats and some way of transportation to assist people in doing those things.
Or even set up some kind of a factory.
Yeah, factory.
Where the produce can go there and that's canned or something like that.
That's what the URP has been saying, that in all these different areas where you have handling, getting out the products, set up a factory, do little canning or do little packaging and everything. So whatever coming out is finished product. You don't have no waste product. Right. Because transportation is very costly. You know, even in the interior, we have been talking about setting up sawmills in the interior. So because of these logs and everything, what they drag out on the road, breaking up the road with the big trucks and so forth, there's a lot of waste on the log with the skin and when they cut it and thing it. So if we can avoid all of that. Right. You know, we can bring out finished product, which will be less weight and which will able to keep the road formed.
Right. Make more money as a result.
Right, and make more money too.
There's a lack of development, generally a lack of development in many of the regions. What do you envision can be done to make Guyana more progressive?
Well, one of the problems is that it doesn't seem that many effort has been placed in many of these regions, especially the outer part of the region. You know, the far part of outlying area of the region. And if the government tried to put more emphasis in these regions, create these kind of factory, industry, different kind of things, where those people don't have to leave the region and come to Georgetown. Because everything, if you technically are focusing in Georgetown, you know, not the region. So what happened? If people are making money, even let us say they're making $100, and they come to Georgetown, you know, all the money are being spent in Georgetown. Okay. You know, 90% of the money is spent in Georgetown. So you got to rent and right? And so 10% will only remain in the region. So the region will always be poor. You know? Rather than if you take factories there.
But okay, so you're a businessman and you're a very successful businessman. Can individual people, entrepreneurs, can they be motivated to spearhead the development in these outlying areas? And if so, what would it take? Put on your hat as a businessman. And what do you think the government can do? Suppose a person wants to take a canning factory or they want to open a sawmill as a private individual, a businessman coming back from overseas, has some money and so on. What can the government do to facilitate that kind of entrepreneurial endeavors in these outlying areas?
Well, government, first of all, as I said, and many of the other programs, if you want to attract foreign investors, the only way you can attract foreign investors is ensure that they get something more than what they are having at the time, right? And the only way you can be able to do that is come up with some kind of strategy, give them some kind of concession, You know, so that they know that if they used to make $2 there, they will make $2.50 here. Okay. And it will encourage them because of 50 cents more.
Okay, but let's up the ante a little. The government brought in Baishan the previous administration, and gave Baishan billions of dollars in concessions. Do you think that is one of the reasons why this government is afraid to offer similar concessions, in as much as you don't seem, or the government don't seem to be able to hold the people accountable to the promises, the contractual agreements that they make?
You see, by Shanling get his concession, but you didn't know what happened under the table. You know, you don't know if somebody taking something and giving them all these leeway.
Right, and that's why I'm asking. Forth, so this government is probably afraid to go down that same route.
Well, I don't think so. They should be afraid of going down that same route. If they have everything, are monitoring everything as they say, you shouldn't be afraid because you are monitoring things. Why should you be afraid? If you have your pulse on the thing, you don't have to be afraid because you know what you're doing.
Doc, you see what I'm doing here? The term is devil's advocate, because I'm telling you, you're a businessman. And I know a lot of business people. I've lived overseas, and I know a lot of people who have money who, because of the mere climate of Guyana, it gives them no incentive. Like you said just now, if they were making $3, they could make $3.50. The diaspora, the folks in the diaspora do not have an interest. They seem dead. I mean, you had before the last government, you had Mr. Jack Diogo going out there. You had Mr. Ramatar, Canada, England, United States. Now this new administration, Mr. Granger goes out there, and they keep appealing to the diaspora. But I would like to know the percent. What is the percent of the diaspora who are coming back to set up business? The atmosphere don't seem to be conducive to you multimillionaire guys to set up.
But you see, one of the things, Pastor, if the environment is not right, no investor will come here. If you don't create the right environment, investor wouldn't come here. Look, many investors come in the PPP days here. Spend millions of dollars here, US, what I know of. And they had to pack up and go after a couple of years.
Why?
Huh?
Because keep on that businessman hat and
because it's not encouraging. They create all kind of new system, put pressures on these people. So if people can't make money. If you're a businessman and you can't make money, you will get out of business. You know? So they decide to pack up and go away. Now, when these politicians go in New York and Canada and so forth, the amount of promises they make to these people, and when the people come here, part of those promises can be fulfilled because of the promises that what they have got. Now, any government in any country will be able to try to encourage business, to try to see and give them a little leeway so that they can make money. Because if you can't make money, you can't be in business. Right. Simple as that. And this is one of our serious problems that we are facing in Guyana. People who are in charge of this section doesn't seem to understand what they're doing. You know, and
Doc, I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to you as a layman as it pertains to business. How do you where do you have to start? Because don't forget, we're beginning with these tours that you were making across the country in the outlying areas and so on. We're talking about communication, we're talking about access to health and access to education. And we're talking about the need and employment. So we're talking about the need to create these little villages and have them semi-efficient, you know, so that people can get work and medical facilities and so on. Then we talk about how do we attract businesses to set up in these areas. And now we're saying that even the infrastructure, even the process of getting a businessman to come seems to be problematic. So it appears as though we are spinning top in mud, if you understand what I mean. There needs to be a whole revamping of the system.
As a businessman, if you go to invest in any country, you know the first thing you look at? The political situation. If the political environment is not right, it means the business would not work. Any good, sensible businessman, that's the first thing you look when you go to a country. How the political situation, how the crime situation, do we have a lot of thieves, a lot of, vagabonds on the street, and these are things. And when you see these businesses start reading the newspaper, mind you, our newspaper outside hasn't been doing a fair work too, because bad news sell newspaper, not good news. Okay. Right? Nobody wants to read good news.
Right.
All the bad news they want to read. And when something happened 6 inches in Guyana, in the outside newspaper, it becomes 3 times that. Right? It becomes 18 inches.
Okay.
And that's how it had been going on. Right? Even in our country here, most what you find, the bad news. People want to read the bad news. Then I look at the good news. What's happening? Only the bad news. So the mentality, we as Guyanese have to move away and speak the truth. What happened? Don't try to add on a little more to make it worse. Okay. Right? That is why you see even tourism will not be coming to Guyana. Because many times I saw it on the internet in New York when I was living there, where the government advised you if you're a Guyanese.
You mean U.S. government?
U.S. government. Advise you, if you're a Guyanese, we are advising you not to go to Guyana, or nobody to go on holiday to Guyana, because if you are in any problem, you'll be on your own. They are telling you that clearly on the internet. Our government are telling you that. That's the news. Okay. I read that many times. So when you see all these kind of things happening, and government or other country are advising you not to do this, not to do that, where do you think we are going?
Okay. So the climate, in order to attract investors, the current climate of Guyana has to significantly change.
Definitely.
So that before we can attract people to go set up these industries in the outlying areas that are hurting, we have got to first deal with the climate that obtains right now. So that you have to look about your go invest and you've heard of go invest, right?
I know go invest,
and the role that they play. Yes. So we seem to be stuck at even the administrative. So how do you envision, given the established problem, how do you envision what is one of the steps that the URP can take to encourage businessmen to come back to Guyana?
We have to open Guyana. We have to, first of all, work seriously on our crime situation in Guyana, to ensure that there's law and order in Guyana. When people know that there's law and order in Guyana, then we make the place, open to the businesses to come in and give them what kind of facilities we can give them to encourage them to come home. And mind you, a lot of Guyanese would love to come home. They all would love to come home because many of them make their millions and they want to come back here and do something. But they would not come back under these two administrations. They are telling you that clearly. Look, I think the government, they had something a couple of days ago in New York. They get a lot of picketing and things like that, people abusing them and so forth for what they're doing. So people, they're concerned also about their country, but they would not come back in the situation that what we are having right now.
All right, Doc, we're running out of time here. Take a moment and look at your parishioners and address them as we bring this segment to a close here.
Fellow Guyanese, as today we have been discussing about business and what is happening in our country, I urge you to come and support the URP in whatever we are doing. Whatever we are doing, we are trying to do it for you, the Guyanese people. And please help us, so that we will be able to get everything as we wish to have in Guyana and make Guyana a beautiful Guyana. I thank you. God bless.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Vishnu. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending time with us. Remember, this is URP Practical Talk, and we're here every week, same time, same station. You can visit us on the World Wide Web, www.urpguyana.com, or you can visit our Facebook page that is constantly being updated at URP Guyana. God bless you. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.